Now, a businessman and climate activist, Simon Holmes a Court, who of course we know heavily funded the Teal Independence through his Climate 200 mob, he's started calling on Labor and the Greens opposition, or calling out the Labor and Greens opposition to nuclear energy. He said it borders on irrational, and he said that there's no compelling case for Australia to continue to ban nuclear energy. Now, at the same time, he slammed the coalition's energy policies, saying it's over-relying on nuclear technology that he said exists only on paper, and that these small modular reactors are still 2 decades away from playing a meaningful role. But is it not good to see someone who's played such a large role in the climate discussion saying, no, there is no genuine reason to maintain this ban on nuclear energy, which of course we know the government keeps poo-pooing and saying, oh, well, it's simply not viable, so why lift the ban? Well, if it's not viable, you've got nothing to lose in lifting the ban, do you?
That's right. And I think it shows, look, Holmes a Court, he's obviously a reasonably intelligent guy. He understands politics. He can look at this and say, well, the notion that we're not even allowed to think about it and ban it is absurd. We have a big push going on internationally to refine this technology. Simon Holmes a Court's probably right to say it's probably 2 decades away before it's viable in Australia, but we're silly to ignore it. We can't put all our hopes in other technologies that haven't been perfected either. That's hydrogen, carbon capture and storage, and all these things we need. So we should just open it up and be available to the possibility. If you don't think it's going to work, that's fine, you can think that, but if someone wants to invest in it down the track and it does work, well, that can only be good.
Now, just quickly before we go, Graham, the UK PM Rishi Sunak opened his first Conservative Party conference on the weekend with an attack on those who criticised his decision to scrap many of his government's net zero pledges. Take a quick look.
People may be critical of it, but I believe I'm doing the right thing for the country. I'm not going to shy away from that. If I believe the right thing to do is to chart a new course to net zero that will save ordinary families £5, £10, £15, £20,000, I'm going to do it. And whether it's him, whether it's anyone else who wants to be critical of that decision, I'm okay with that. They should be the ones that explain why they think it is right to put those costs on people. Might be fine for them to afford it. It's not fine for everyone else. I don't think it's right.
Just quickly, Graham, common sense at last, is it going to catch on?
Well, an extraordinary U-turn by Rishi Sunak there. Obviously, the pain of this transition is too much for many people to bear. The proof is that Germany and France immediately followed and started winding back some of their net zero policies. It was an extraordinary speech that Rishi Sunak gave when he announced they were going to be reduced. He was basically saying, look, the elites had got out of touch with the ordinary people. Nobody had explained what was involved. People were very unhappy, and obviously with an eye to the election, he said, we better get out of here, and he's sticking to his guns.
Little bit of common sense, extraordinary, isn't it? Graham Lloyd, thank you for joining me.